it's now middle of day 3 and we need to find out more about this hall. So we've brought Matt and Phil into the trench to help. Though I'm not sure it's the most productive combination.
Call that a brush, Phil?
Yeah, it's a brush. What's that?
Well, I think you'll find this is a far superior brush.
Is it?
Yours looks like a demented hedgehog.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, yours looks like having a very abbreviated moustache.
They'd be better off hanging off the side of my head, wouldn't they, Phil?
We're now concentrating all our efforts on this hall because the archaeologists believe it's key to proving that we're dealing with a royal site, which still kind of niggles me. Because let's be honest, whether we've got 1 hall or 5, it's a huge leap from stains in the ground to a royal estate.
Helena, from the moment that you saw those air photos, you went, I really think this is a royal site. And then when we dug that first trench, you went, yes, it's confirmed. Why? I mean, there's very little evidence to go on, isn't it?
Well, I've always been struck from the moment I saw these aerial photographs by the similarities between Sutton Courtenay and a very famous Anglo-Saxon site about which we know quite a lot, called Yevering up in Northumbria. We've got this L-shaped arrangement of buildings. Yevering also has a series of great halls very similar to this, similar in size, similar in layout.
But why did you assume that it had royal connections?
Yeah, well, I don't have to assume it. I've been told it by none other than Bede, the famous Anglo-Saxon historian, who tells us that in the 7th century, round about the year 628, that the king of Northumbria, King Edwin, actually came with his queen and his courtiers, his nobles, to a place called Yevering, and there dwelt 36 days, and he says it was a royal Villa Regia.
So, judging by the Yevering comparison, our site certainly looks as though it could be royal. And what's more, having surveyed the surrounding landscape, Stuart thinks he's got evidence which supports this idea.
The important thing in the Saxon landscape is the river.
Right.
We're standing just there where the site is. You see this beautiful sweeping boundary going round here with the water in the bottom. This is the sort of former edge of the River Thames.
So it was right next to our site, virtually.
What we've got is a possibility here of a river landing.
Well, you could bring huge great boats up here, couldn't you, with imports from anywhere you like?
Absolutely. I mean, it becomes a key focal point on the River Thames.
Yeah.
The other point to bring out on here as well is this old road, which is way beyond where the cars are.
Yeah.
This is also a parish boundary. I think this is the road into the complex where the halls are.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
Now I get it. At first I couldn't understand why a royal centre would be in the middle of nowhere. But if this was a riverside site on the main road, then I can see why it became so important. And it's now nearly the end of our time at Sutton Courtenay, and I think the archaeologists finally have a handle on the site.
We are standing in the sunken feature building.
A grub to me.
A grub. And if we come over here, basically what they did is they put a big hall over the top of it. So we've got a wall here, and it goes through where you're standing. And
then out and returning back through there.
Yeah. Where you are right now is our entranceway.
And then the building is running straight back through that way, is it?
Yeah,
It's a line this way.
Yep.
So the doorway is, again, in the end and not in the side.
So brilliantly, it does seem we've got 2 phases of Anglo-Saxons, who first lived here in grub huts as a small community, which then grew as they were replaced with a series of halls. Since this hall is very much like the Great Hall, we think it's contemporary, proving that this was a royal site.
Hello, my name's John Gator. Time Team is fan-funded by Patreon. This vital support helps us to make new episodes. Joining Patreon gives you access to exclusive interviews, 3D models and masterclasses, plus lots more.